So marketing segmentation, I don't know whether my background noise is going also to affect the quality of the recording, but such challenges that we cannot avoid. So I wanted to talk about the marketing segmentation and marketing strategies. Of course, in marketing segmentation, we are also going to look about targeting and positioning. Yeah. So what do we understand from the word market? Okay. What is a market? A market, of course, it is comprised of the consumers. Okay, whenever you mention the word market, of course it has consumers, and these consumers can either be actual buyers who normally buy the product or the potential buyers. Each and every market, of course, it has either the buyers or the potential buyers. Okay, people who buy the product from you and people who you are targeting, who maybe are going to be your prospects. Okay, maybe later days they're going to change your mind and maybe buy your product later on. So basically that is the word that when you mention a market is basically what we mean. And we have different stages through which marketing should pass. And number one, we have the mass marketing. Yeah, mass marketing. So I don't know whether there's some people who have done maybe marketing before. Maybe you have been able to promote or sell a certain product. Yeah. So I remember they are, especially people who normally do this one most of the time are people, especially for the insurance. Yeah, they do something called the mass marketing, whereby they just go and advertise their products and services to large people at once. Okay, so this is whereby the seller does mass production, mass selling, mass distribution, mass promotion, okay, to all the buyers. So there is no limit of maybe a specific buyer. You are just targeting anyone and everyone. Okay, you have not like like have a specific criteria in which you are maybe targeting people of a certain class or whatever. This is whereby everyone is included, either maybe a small business, a big business, everything. So this is mass marketing, whereby everyone is a target for your product to be sold. So the reason as to why some companies or they do the mass marketing is basically it leads to low cost and also it creates a large potential market. Okay, so you'll never know who and who you are meeting, because for example, when you are just marketing into maybe a small business, then you'll never know whether there's a potential customer who maybe came to that shop. Okay, so for example, let's say maybe you are going to a kiosk and maybe you are telling them about the services you're having and so on. So maybe there is another person who maybe has parked his own car there and maybe came to buy maybe a bottle of water and so on. So whenever maybe you are just trying to enlight the maybe the kiosk person about whatever business you have or whatever product and services you're offering, then maybe the other person might by chance hear you mentioning maybe something that can be able to interest them. Okay, at the end of the day, you might have maybe even sold, you might not have sold. Okay, so basically mass testing, there is no elimination of someone, elimination of some certain people or shops or maybe a market and so on. So your target is just everyone, okay? So if you sell it, it does not matter. If you do not sell it, it does not matter. So at the end of the day, at least you have created an awareness whereby people can go to relate with your product that you are selling. We also have another kind of stage that we call the product variety marketing. So this is whereby actually the seller produces 2 or more products that have different features, size, quality, and sizes. So this one is called the product variety marketing. So number 2, product. Okay, so we say that the product variety marketing is whereby the seller is able to produce 2 or more products, okay, and of different features, totally, okay, and of different sizes. And the reason as to why this kind of marketing happens is the consumers have different tastes that vary over time, okay. Remember that there are people who just like things, they don't want to carry, just like for example, when we are talking about maybe Vaseline, for instance. Vaseline comes in different, it is just the same, the same Vaseline, the brand is the same, maybe let's say the cream, and it has the same features. It has the same features. It has different sizes, and it has different quality. Like for example, you can find very pure petroleum jelly or Vaseline. You can find the perfumed one. Okay, you can find another one that has another added, ingredient in it. So basically, this is whereby it tries to meet the tastes of different consumers, because there are consumers who just don't like, maybe for example, carrying a very big Vaseline, okay, maybe the one that is 250 grams. There's also who just like carrying the one that is just like 25 grams, the smallest, especially ladies, maybe just to apply on your lips or maybe your hands where you wash them and so on. So actually you're just producing this product, but also trying to you have in mind that you are targeting different consumers who have different wants. And there are so many other things that are produced out there that are the same, yes, but you find that the packaging is also different, and also the features that they have, they are a bit different because of the different consumers that they have in mind. And another stage that we have, we call the target marketing. Target marketing. So in the target marketing, just from the word target, you can see that it is whereby you are targeting a certain market, okay? You are targeting a certain market, and you have that product or service that has been mainly tailored for that selected market. So meaning that that market is basically, maybe for example, you come up, I don't know which kind of brand we can be able to use. Like, for example, any product that we can give like an example. Any product that you can assist me with? An example of a product that maybe you might be having in mind. So like, for example, let's just give an example of kiwi. So you notice that kiwi is just a product that is just, targeted for people who like either men or maybe let's say like just to polish leather shoes. Okay, so they are targeting maybe school going children. They are targeting maybe people maybe who are maybe they are targeting men who wear maybe most of the time official shoes and so on. So you'll see that they have a target. Okay, they have a target in mind, and what made, they have just made it with a specific, to meet the specific need of that market, of the consumers that are going to buy that product. So if it is the school going children, they already know that, they will always need this kiwi just to be able to use them to brush their shoes and so on. So you not find it in, a lot of, they do not have a lot of specifications, but you'll just see that it is just, made to suit the consumer, and the consumers, of course, are going to respond according, to how it is going to be to work for them and so on. So those are the specific different stages which are used, especially when marketing. So there are also major steps in target marketing, because I was to talk about there's also target marketing. So in target marketing, we have a process, and that process, first of all, it has the market segmentation, it has the market targeting, and it has the market positioning. Okay, so when we are talking about market segmentation, in simple terms, we mean dividing the market into groups. Okay, so basically here we are trying to break down the target marketing that we just talked previously about. So the major steps in target marketing is market segmentation. And in market segmentation, this is basically dividing the market into groups. Okay, so under the market segmentation, of course, first of all, you have to identify the basis for segmenting the market. Maybe, for example, you will have to look whether are you going to look at, maybe, for example, in terms of demographic. So in terms of demographic, we have age, we have maybe occupation, we have gender, and so on. So basically, you're just going to look at it. You have to identify, okay, so are we going to group them, okay, in terms of demographic and so on. So, and still market segmentation, you have to look at, you have to develop the profile of the resulting segments, okay. Maybe you look at, maybe if it is maybe gender, okay, the profile under gender. Are you going to look at, maybe are they the young women, are they the older women, are they the small girls, and so on. And after segmenting your market into those small groups, and creating that profile, then you'll go straight to market targeting. Okay, market targeting, you will look at the attractiveness. So how attractive are you going to make this market? Okay, so definitely look at, you will develop measures of segment attractiveness, and you will select the target segments. Okay, so after maybe you have come up maybe with the measures of, you know, segmenting the attractiveness of this specific target of group, then you will go ahead and select the target segments. Maybe you're going to say, okay, I'm going to look at maybe the ladies, the young ladies, and maybe the business working ladies, and then maybe you look at maybe the occupation. Of course, you will look at maybe are they family people or not family people, and so after that you will come and look at maybe the market positioning. Okay, look at the market positioning. And the market positioning, this is whereby you will develop a positioning for each target market. Okay, so if you have broken down into your market into those segments you have done before, then you will definitely look at the positioning. Okay, like for example, where are they located? Most of them, where are they located, and so on. And also you will develop the marketing mix for each segment. And of course, we talked about the marketing mix before. And of course, the marketing mix, this is whereby you look at the 4 P's, the major 4 P's. Remember, some books have until the 8 P's, so they keep on varying, but basically when you're talking about the marketing mix, we have to put in mind especially the 4 P's at this level. So you look at the place, you will look at the people, you will look at what else? What are the 4 P's?
Price.
Huh?
Price.
You look at the price, yes. And the last one? And the last one, remember, these are the very 4 important. We have others. Some books end up, you know, giving their 6, their 8, so they keep on varying. But remember that you should always have in mind that they are always 4. Okay, the major ones are normally 4. So we have the product, we have the price, we have the place, and the last one we have the promotion. Okay, so never forget about these 4 P's. I don't know how you're going to cram them, but you just find a way. Just find a way in which you can be able to cram them, so that at least you do not confuse. Okay, so you'll follow these steps for you to be able to to get to know your market well, and to be able to give the right product, or to be able to market to the right people. Sometimes just don't market just because of that. There are some people who don't even need that product, and yet still you are utilizing your time. You are really you are really spending a lot of money, but at the end of the day, maybe you are just targeting the wrong people. So it is very important to be able to learn on how to be able to get to the real people, and that's why market segmentation is very important, for you to be able to analyze, break down your market to exactly, because the market differ in terms of their wants, in terms of their resources, in terms of their location, in terms of the buying attitude, in terms of the buying practices. Just like, for example, when we talk about men, when you sell men's clothes, I feel like if you can be able to try, doing your small research and seeing that most of the stalls they do not sell men clothes, most of them. A very few stalls you'll find that they are selling men clothes, but a lot of stalls in town or wherever, okay, they're selling women clothes. Why? Because of the buying attitude. Okay, women always want to buy a new clothing. They are going for an event, they will want to buy a new dress, they will want to buy new clothes, new accessories, and so on. That is their buying nature. Okay, so if you put a business over there, then you already know, okay, this is definitely going to do well, because even the people there are women. Most of the people are women, and most of the time the women always want to buy new things all the time. But men, you just put your stall for men there, men will always buy at most once or twice a month. Okay, just maybe a pair of shoes this month, a pair of trousers the next month. So it is not like the women. Okay, so it is really very important for you to be able to segment your market, position it, have a marketing target, then position your market. Okay, knowing that exactly this is what I'm going to do at this time, and for you to be able to meet the needs. And remember, in marketing, we always strive to meet the needs of the consumers. It's not about what we feel like we want. At the end of the day, it's what the customers want, what they will buy. Otherwise, you'll stock your shop, or you will have your business, but no one comes to your business because those people are not into whatever that you are doing there. They are not into selling. It's just like, for example, having a cyber in the rural area. Okay, just have that scenario. Having a cyber in your rural area, thinking that your grandparents will go there. You know, the children there are not into gaming, they're not into IT things and so on. So that business definitely will never pick up. Okay, the moment that you'll see a customer there is when maybe someone just got a mail and it is really important, or maybe they're struggling to read something. That's when they are coming for your assistance. But anyway, you'll end up not doing any business. Okay, but if you have that same cyber in maybe in the urban center, whereby maybe you are targeting, and you know that the population there is more of youths and so on, it can do well. Okay, it can do well because maybe number one, you're targeting the youth, and the youth maybe they are into maybe technology. Some of them want to maybe to play games, some of them, you know, want maybe maybe to access social media and so on. So basically, the market segmentation, it is really, really important, not only for your business, but also just for you to have the general knowledge of how the business world works. So we have segmentation variables. I'm going to go through them really quick. Segmentation variables. So these are actually some of the items that really determine, okay, on how you will be able to segment your market. So number one, we have geographic. So So we have geographic. So just from the word geographic, you can see that this one is just from different regions. Okay, so it can be just from different nations, states, regions, counties, or neighborhood. So a company can decide to operate in one or several geographic areas, paying attention to geographic differences or to customer differences. Okay, so it's just like, for example, maybe you have McDonald's. McDonald's can do well, it does well, especially in these European countries, because the European countries are into fast foods, okay? They are into fast foods. Most of the people are just, working class people, people who just want to go in and pick something and eat, so fast and so on. But just trying to have McDonald's in Nairobi, I don't know whether, do we have McDonald's in Kenya? Not yet. Do we have it? Do we have McDonald's in Kenya? Peter?
No. No.
No, we do. Okay. So we do not have McDonald's in Kenya. So you can imagine if there are people who have already thought through. These people just don't, have their franchise. Later on we'll talk about, franchising and so on, how we are going to separate and the chains about, our markets, because hospitality is more of like into franchising. It is into, chains of hotels and so on. So we'll talk about it later in the unit. So basically, you'll find that they will not even want maybe to come to Africa or come to Kenya, to be specific, because about the geographic segmentation, okay, this variable called geographic, because maybe the population here is not into fast foods, okay? Like, for example, they are not into fast foods, or maybe people really don't like value that brand so much here, okay? So maybe you'll find a McDonald's maybe in South Africa, or maybe find it in some other country, because of the, the composition of also the people, the consumers, okay? So are there, even people from European countries also in Kenya, or, the kind of population, they will always want to put their business where they really know that they can get value for their money, and also the consumers are going to, appreciate their product. So Mary, you're trying to type. Do you have anything to say, Mary? Mary, we're waiting for you.
Chair, I was just suggesting that there is one along the Mombasa Highway near Voi. It's still on progress.
They are trying to create one here, right? It's not that it is okay. So they are trying to get into our market, okay? So it is something that is just like also, as it called, one of the biggest chain of hotels in the world. Apart from Villarosa Kempinski, there is another one. I don't know how updated you are with the hotels that are there in the world. So of course Hilton is a worldwide brand, but there is, which one? Do you have an idea, the one that I'm talking about? The one that is supposed... Huh?
Sereni.
Not really, not that one. There is this one that, has given Villarosa Kempinski nightmares. The one that was supposed actually to be built next to Villarosa Kempinski.
Karoba.
Not at all. Not that one. me there are brands of hotels. I don't know. I think it starts with an M. Let me just get that name right now before even we move on. It's a very big hotel. It's a worldwide. Should be checking out, what is actually happening. Because there is a time that Villarosa Kempinski actually got themselves into a lot of rank calls with the building that is coming up. The Marriotts, that is the word. Yes, the Marriotts. So it's a really, really, really big brand. Okay, so this is a hotel that anyone who is in this industry can be able to relate with. The Marriotts. Okay, so the Marriotts is said to want to come into this market. They have already even started building up their structures. So I don't know how vast you are. And actually it's said to be bigger than Villarosa Kempinski. And so it is a big threat to the Kempinski. Okay, so of course you know that Kempinski is a very big brand also it started from the German. Okay, so it originated from Germany and it grew up to other countries and so on. So the same way with Marriott. So Marriott is mainly in most European countries and so on. And remember, these big brands, they are associated with a certain class. It's just like, for example, buying a product that has been there for ages, or it is associated with a kind of service or a kind of product that is really maybe friendly, or it meets the needs of the consumers and so on. And especially when you're talking about our hospitality industry, you will notice that brands also play a major role, because, like, for example, just imagine that you are maybe a tourist, and maybe you are from United States, or you are from London, whatever you are from, and you come to Nairobi. You are a tourist, and you will always want to check in into a hotel that you can associate with. Like, for example, if there is Marriott in your country, or there is Kempinski in your country, you already know the kind of standards they offer. Okay, you already know the art of design and the deco and everything that goes on in that hotel. So basically, you will always want to go and to automatically just check into that hotel without even knowing anything else. Okay, so that is what is actually happening. Okay, especially with hospitality, because number one, selling a service is a bit tricky, and that's why even coming up with new hotels, coming up with new services and so on, it can be a bit hectic, because number one, you're trying to make people see the need of your services, trying to make people realize that your brand is the best, or it can do better, and that one can take a bit of time. And that's why you find that If you are using maybe a certain brand that is known, you can be able to move so fast, okay? And that's why maybe you find that even if it is when you are segmenting your market, looking at the geographic variable, it is very important, because you will also check on how even the tourists who are going there, okay, do your people normally go to those countries? Okay, so if they come to these countries, then maybe you can be accommodating them there. So maybe Marriott did their own background check, and so that there is a need for us to have our brand here. So if our people can come from these countries, they can be able even to go straight to our hotels without checking into other hotels and so on. So Villarosa Kempinski is very threatened, because we know that this is a big brand, and people are so satisfied with the kind of service that Marriott offers. Okay, so people will be torn in between Marriott. Is it Marriott? Is it Kempinski? So they just know that there are some big brands that you cannot really fight with, because they have been there and people know about them. So that's why they were a bit of. So just because of this pandemic, I don't know how far it is, but it is a hotel that will just move this place to another level. Okay, so it will also promote also the country in ways that we cannot imagine. Okay, so even if also the tourism sector is also trying to market, it also tries to pull this branded hotels just to come invest in our countries, because they know that if these brands come, they will automatically come with their people. So it is strategies that the countries keep on using to be able to see that their services are met, or maybe their marketing purpose is met. So we have another one that we call the demographic. I think I've talked about this one so many times. So by now, you really do not know what demographic is. I don't know what you should be doing in this class. So demographic is basically about age. It is about gender. So when you hear someone talking about demographic, okay, so it is also another variable that is normally used for segmentation, and I've said time over and over, this is basically about the age, the sex, the gender, the family size, the income, the education, religion, anything that go to group people into a certain criteria. So if you're talking about age, you can even talk about the small children, you can talk about the youths, you can talk about the old people, and so on. Okay, so I wouldn't go into that. So we also have another one which is a bit interesting. We called psychographic segmentation. You can help me with the pronunciation of this word if I'm not mentioning it right. Okay. So is it called psychographic? Is that pronounced as psychographic? It depends where we schooled. Yeah. So it is a psychographic a variable that also assists them in market segmentation. So basically, when you're talking about this one, is about dividing the buyers into groups based on their social, their lifestyle and personality. Okay. And when you're talking about these characteristics, especially the social class, of course, people People are into social class. I don't know. Some people really want to be associated with a certain social class. We always say that there is a high class, there is a, and that's why you will always see in flights, we have the first class, we have the business class, we have the economy class, and so on. Even if it is in the trains, you'll always see that there is a certain class, and that's even hotels. You see that there is six stars, 7 stars. I don't know. There is another hotel in, is it in Dubai? Dubai is actually doing very well in terms of hospitality. Okay, that's why you'll see that, you know, a lot of people, they even poach people from Kenya. Okay, if you are doing this, hospitality is actually a lucrative profession. Okay, especially in the, and let me just say in terms of, you know, getting jobs overseas. Okay, they always want to poach people from Kenya, because at least the standards are a bit, you know, lenient, because the standards are even in standards. The teaching standards are also, whatever you get to be taught is, you'll find that these are the same things that are applicable even when you're working in Dubai. If you get yourself working in Germany, they are the same things. Okay, the same way you serve a guest, the same way you respond to problems, the same way you respond to challenges. One or two things can be able to be a bit different in terms of the culture, but most professionally. So you to definitely be affected to that space. Okay, people just, I don't know, you top. So Bentley, okay, will always be seen of a certain class. So you can be able to maybe to segment your buyers depending on their social class. Okay, and we have the lifestyle. Okay, the lifestyle actually influences the goods and services that people go for. Like, for example, more people are becoming more sensitive in terms of eating health. And that's why you see that even if it is maybe in, we have a health perspective, okay, making sure that at least whatever we are, you know, writing on our menus, something which is what? It is something that it is a bit healthy. I think you did matters of menu in terms of your unit during service, whereby you are talking about matters of menus and how you come up with menus, and being sensitive about, you know, people who are more into nutritional stuff and so on. So I think you can be able to relate with this. So the lifestyle also changes things, maybe the services and the products that you come up with. The personality, okay, personality, of course, you can be able to be able to segment, okay, segment your marketing. And that's why you see marketers use a lot of public figures. Okay, like for example, let's just talk about something that we really know that really did well due to public figure, like for example soft care. Okay, everyone relate to that. Soft care. Can everyone relate to soft care? So the product soft care is like those Pampers for the babies. So you can just relate it with size 8. Okay, people never knew that soft care is actually it exists. Okay, but immediately they used a public figure, okay, like size 8. Now people are talking about soft care automatically. Okay, so who can agree with me about that? That really personality figures and the public figures can be able to influence also how a product can be able to be consumed. Am I the only one who noted that, or everyone can be able to relate with that? Dennis, you also, do you even know what soft care is? Dennis has disappeared. Please try to, when you join in through the microphone, yeah? So this habit whereby I ask a question and some of you are just in the listening only. You are not even able to communicate with me. Remember also getting to interact with the lecturer is very important. Okay. Also see the amount of attention you're also making, because I like to talk to myself, right? So participate. So yes, it is true. It is true. So we are in agreement. Yes, we are in agreement that using personality people, they can be able to influence on how even the consumers can even want to try a product. Okay. So I think I was those who didn't even know what soft care is, but immediately size 8, became the brand image and so on. People could be able to really want even to try that product. Yeah. So choosing the right people, it can also increase the sales. Even you can see right now they have even tried to come up with a different product. They are even, they have they are now wanting to come up with so many products because the first product really did well. Okay, so they have already come up with another product which is about targeting the females. Okay, so they come so you can see that they did it. Okay, they did it right, as much as they paid a lot of money for that, just to get that person to be the image of the product. So but they also parted away with a lot of money. But at the end of the day, it is marketing. Marketing also makes sure that you also bring profits at the end of the day. Okay, so they have made so much money, and how much they even ended up paying her. So we also have another one called behaviorist. Ooh, that word. It's about behavior. Okay. Just write it there. How do you pronounce this one? Behaviorist. I think so. That is better. Behaviorist segmentation. So this one is basically you divide buyers into groups based on their knowledge, attitude, use, or response per product. Okay, so that basically means that you have to make sure that you check on their attitude towards that product and how they respond, or how knowledgeable are they about that product. There are people who are a bit so knowledgeable, and they will always, even if it is a specific product, they will always go to the ingredients part and just check out, okay, what is it even made out of? There are people who are so sensitive on that. There are some people even who don't care, checking on, the manufacturers. They even don't check there. And I know that women are a bit sensitive to that. I think generally women are sensitive in terms of to details, especially to details. You'll always see that they are buying a packet of milk and they are there checking out the expiry dates, and they're checking out a lot of, maybe in terms of calories, checking out. Men don't even care. Okay? You'll find that you send even a young man to buy for you milk or bread. They will come up with a stale bread, okay, or milk that has gone bad. They even don't keep on checking. Okay, those small things, they don't pay attention to those details and so on. So behaviorist is just as to just group this the consumers in terms of the knowledge that they have issued and how they use that product. Okay, so that's basically it. I think you can be able to later on we discuss, maybe you can talk about you're going to discuss on maybe the requirements for effective segmentation. Okay. I want us to talk to remember shouldn't forget to talk about targeting. We've talked about the segmentation, so let us talk about the market targeting. So the market targeting is basically, it involves evaluating each segment's attractiveness and selecting one or more of the market segments by evaluating these market segments. Okay, so there are certain factors to consider, especially in terms of market targeting, and you'll consider the segment size and the growth. Okay, so remember, when you're talking about segment, is just basically grouping. Okay, grouping the market. Okay, and of course we already know what segmentation is and some of the variables that segmentation really pays attention to. So this segment that you have, let's say, like for example, you are considering maybe a certain group of people, right? You are going to check on their size and the growth. Okay, are they increasing or they're decreasing? Okay, so how are you going to prospect? How are the sales going to be maybe in the near future? Okay, just like statistics, when they're saying that, I don't know how true it is, statistics are always bound to a bit of errors and so on, but basically when they say that the females are more than the males, I don't know how true is that. Is it true? Are there more female babies? I don't know whether female babies are so many. There's even, scare. They're saying that, I don't know, they were saying there's some statistics which were they saying that by the year 2025 or 2030, I'm not really sure, don't hold me hostage about it. They were saying that one man, some women will end up without husbands. Is that true? Like, can you please respond to me? Is that statistics? Anyone who has come across the statistics? Or are women more than the men? Mary, you can just respond. You don't have to write. Just put your mic on.
Yeah, teacher, is somehow true. That
You also feel like,
yeah, there's females more than males.
Females are more than male. So by
Yeah.
the time you see a male, yeah, they are gold. Huh? Peter, do you feel the same way? Eric,
Yeah, very true.
you're supposed to be treated like kings. Huh?
Yeah, but
Just
some of
fishes.
them, they just boast. They will end up without husbands.
Peter, siku hiyo ndio
Yeah.
mistari yenye unatumia. You are luring women with such, Eric, tell us. Actually, Eric, that's why, I refuse people joining using the Morioki. I wouldn't really tell the names, whether you are male or female, especially their names which I am really not sure about the gender. Especially Morioki Muhune, Mansura, because you haven't written your first names and maybe not from the same tribe. I couldn't tell. So Morioki is female or male? I suppose it is male. Can you help me get the agendas?
Yes, male.
Male, okay. So Mansura is female or male?
She.
Mansura is one of your colleagues. Is he male or female? Because I couldn't tell the name.
Female.
It's not written anywhere
Female.
that this is a male
Female.
or a female. So it's a female.
Yeah.
My goodness, I really wish you people, when you are registering, you could register at least with your first English name. And especially in hospitality, we also tend as possible to at least have your English names, okay? Because sometimes where we come from, our names can be a bit of a challenge. So I wouldn't want to offend someone maybe when I mention you like male, female, okay? So that can be really offensive, but it's just because I really don't know. Just like for example, when you write okay or achieng, for instance, unless I come from your region, maybe I can be able to see maybe there's always a difference between there's someone who is called achieng and there's someone who is called ochieng, okay? Maybe achieng is a female, I think. And maybe when you say Odhiambo, maybe Odhiambo is a male just because Peter. If you could have written another native name, then definitely you could have lost me totally. So I don't know, maybe with time I'll be able to really get to know each and everyone. So if you say Mansura is a lady, I couldn't even tell, trust me, that it is a lady. So anyway, you notice that even statistics are saying that the male, I don't know whether this is a bit biased, especially being, if you are someone who is a bit of an activist, you'll always tend to, to challenge each and everything that you really come across. So basically, if the statistics say so, of course, there should be some truth about it. But I realized also, I think everyone has realized that there are a lot of baby girls, okay? Someone says they are pregnant and they are giving birth, okay? Is it a baby girl? It's a bit obvious. It's a bit obvious. Nowadays, even getting a baby boy is just like, okay, woof, it's something else. So I wouldn't tell the cause of that, but I think scientists have a better understanding. They can be able to explain on maybe why are there are more females or why are there more less men? So you will have to consider that. So if the female species are increasing, then definitely, even if you are also trying to come up checking on your business, then definitely you'll always want to target the female. Okay, so you shouldn't want to target the male, because definitely you might the generation can be extinct anytime. Okay, so you also don't want to get out of the market just because you had a wrong target. So, and another maybe factor that is, I think, a bit important is about the company objectives and resources. Also, you always have to be in line with also the company's objectives. Okay, each and every company has its own objectives. So if it is about ZTech University, it has its own objectives. I don't know whether you know the objectives of ZTech University. Anyone who knows objectives of ZTech University? Let me see some of the people who have done their background check. What does ZTech University stand for? Anyone with an idea? Hey, you people. Mission, what about his mission? What is about its mission? So has anyone ever heard about to provide holistic higher education through promoting excellence in research, integrating innovation and technology in learning and developing well-rounded citizens? Has that come across you? Huh? You should make sure that at least you know even the mission of the mission and the vision of the establishment that you are in. Okay, so if it is ZTech University, you make sure that each and every organization, you have to note that it has its own mission and vision. Okay, and that it has its own objectives and how they are going to objectives are basically on how they are going, some of the things they are going to do to ensure that they have met their vision and their mission. Okay, so it is like a breakdown. So you have to make sure at least you know the mission and the vision of each and every establishment. Some of the times whenever you maybe want to get a job or you are in an interview, you might come across such questions. Okay, people will want to know how attached or how do you really want to be associated with us. Okay, do you even know the mission? What do we stand for? You know our vision. You might ask this. You might find some people who are more sensitive into knowing how much do you know about the organization you are in, you are working for, and so on. Or maybe if you really know about their missions and the visions, then definitely you are a person who is going to help them achieve this vision and mission. Okay, so you'll even get an upper hand in terms of even jobs or in terms of helping them in one way or another. So it is really, really important to be paying attention to these things. So so you can also try to make sure that you consider the company's objectives and resources. I think we have to talk about that. Okay, so those ones are the things that I wanted us to discuss in a nutshell. Okay, so I think there is a group that I think Mary's group talked about the different strategies that we have. There are different marketing strategies which a market segment normally selects, and The market strategies, the most important ones are these three that we call undifferentiated marketing. We have differentiated marketing and concentrated marketing. Okay. So they are very important. Just, I don't know how you are going to cram them. Just make sure that you cram them, okay? Use any way to be able to know that I don't know it. So it keeps on, disappearing. Marketing strategies, we have undifferentiated strategies. We have differentiated, and we have concentrated. Okay, so these basically are the ones that we will try to discuss. Okay. So because Mary, I think you did this. Can you please remind us on what undifferentiated strategies are? Remind us again. Mary, I'm talking to you and your group. Tell us on what undifferentiated strategies are. Mary?
We only got the differentiated and concentrated.
Okay, then tell us what differentiated and concentrated are. Then I'll cover on undifferentiated.
The difference is that the concentrated strategy is when a company chooses one market, focus all of their time, money, efforts. Yeah, the strategy is usually chosen by smaller businesses or those that are just taking off and starting to make a name for themselves in the marketplace. Then differentiated strategy is when a company focuses on two or more markets. Companies that utilize their strategy market their products in many different segments. They just change their messaging to appeal to all their differences.
Okay, so just note that just having in mind about what Mary has shared with us, what the differences are between the concentrated marketing and differentiated marketing. So I just want us to, get to know more about the undifferentiated marketing. It's not like you can mute your mic, Mary. Thank you. So you can note that the differences are not far from each other. So basically, when you are talking about undifferentiated marketing strategies, this is whereby it normally ignores the market segmentation differences and goes after the wider market, okay, with one market offer. Basically, it focuses on what is common in the needs of customers rather than on differences, okay. So basically, you can notice that this marketing strategy is whereby you just go all in, okay, and try to customer wants. You really don't want to, think about the other differences that other customers maybe you might be having or thinking about, bringing to the market, but mainly you focus on what the customer really wants. Okay, so basically, you should note that this one, it ignores the segmentation differences. Remember, when you're talking about the segmentation, it ignores it, okay? And it goes after the wider market with only one market offer. So, and also it provides economies. And when you're talking about the differentiated market, so note that the firm targets several market segments, okay, and designs separate offers for each, okay. So you can see that there is a difference that we have already gotten. The other one ignores the market segmentation differences, but this one also, the differentiated one, targets the market segments and designs separate offers for each, but undifferentiated one does not. It really concentrates on one, okay. And in differentiated marketing, still it produces more total sales than undifferentiated market, okay. It offers a different marketing mix to each target market. So you can see that the undifferentiated marketing actually does not concentrate more on the sales, okay, the total sales, whereby you are going to get under maybe targeting several market segments. So if you are really targeting one segment, then definitely the sales aren't going to be up, because there are other maybe consumers who are not met with maybe their needs that they want. But in differentiated, you try as much as possible getting to be able to give exactly each and every segment what they really want, having in mind about the marketing mix. And concentrated marketing, as you've heard earlier, it is about foregoing small share of a larger market, but you concentrate more on you concentrate on the share of one or more small markets. Okay, so this one normally is about it's normally where the companies have limited resources. Okay, so if a company has limited resources, then definitely they are not going to go for small share in a larger market. Okay, they're basically going to concentrate all their resources, okay, in one or more small markets. Okay, just instead of just swimming with the sharks, you'd rather just have your own thing concentrated. You put all your resources and your energy and everything there, and without time you'll find that it sprouts out better. So basically, each and every marketing strategy, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. So some of them you have already seen when you're talking about undifferentiated marketing. You can see that one of its disadvantages, it focuses on what is common in the needs of the customers rather than the differences with several segmentations. Okay, so in concentrated marketing, which is whereby I think most of the companies try to use this strategy, its advantage is mostly in the hospitality sector. It helps it in achieving a strong marketing position in the segments they serve. Okay, so at least you are known for a specific thing. And another advantage is that the company enjoys many operating economies, so you can be able even to, push your businesses in a small way, okay, and get to meet, to operate in many economies. And another advantage, a well-chosen segment obviously earns a higher return on investment. Okay, so and under concentrated marketing, unfortunately, we only have one disadvantage that makes it more suitable. The advantage that the disadvantage that we have in there is that it involves higher normal risks. Okay, because of this, many companies prefer to operate on two or more companies. So at least the risks are there. Okay, so because if they really go out of the market, they can totally be extinct. Okay, so you can see that most of the people try to put all their energy into maybe a small market. Okay, you just choose a market, you just choose a small market and try to meeting the needs of that market and putting all your energy, you put all the marketing strategies in there and so on, and try to at least come up instead of going into a market that has already been saturated. You just come up with a very unique product and try to push it out, and at the end of the day you get you can either achieve more, okay, the profits are even higher, and even you can be able even to open other branches elsewhere. Okay, so I think most of the companies, especially the hospitality industry, is actually using this concentrated type of marketing strategy to be able to grow its own business. So what I want us to do is that so any question about what we have discussed? So I guess there is no question.